welcome to Blending today. Today's March 5th and we're working in Unit 4, Week 1, where we have been working on those, there's four, but we're going to learn those in a few weeks. There's a few other ways that you can spell that long A sound. So when you say the word train, you hear the letter A in the middle, and that letter is called the long A, or that sound, excuse me. And so this week, we've been working on spelling the long A sound with A by itself, A-I, and if you're going to have the A-I spelling, there will be a letter after it, and there can also be a letter in front of it. There are some words where the A-I will be at the beginning, though, but there will always be a letter after it. That's what the blank is for. And then with the A-Y spelling, where you hear the long A sound at the end. And with the A-Y spelling, you will always see something in front of it. You won't ever see just the A-Y. All right, so let's get started with high frequency words. So of course, we got a whole new set of words, so make sure that you're paying attention and participating, really helping you practice the words. Woman, right, caught, flew, food, warm, blue, small, give, ate, animal, hour, other, into, more, start, laugh, were, hard, near, would, found, listen, know, over, find, because, or, carry, about. Wonderful, thanks. So let's get started with our blending. Okay, so our first word, made. Your turn. A-D. Made. Made. M says A-I, one of those vowel teams. That's what we're working on this week. Vowel teams that work together to make that long A sound. A. D says da. A, da. Made. So the other day we talked about how a maid would be someone who comes and cleans your house. You probably wouldn't call them, oh, that's my maid, that's our house cleaner. But that's what they had been called in the past. So yes, made. And there's also another way to spell the word made. Two different meanings, two different spellings. Let's try that one. Made. Your turn. A-D. Made. So this form of the word made, you still hear that long A sound, only this one is spelled with the A blank E spelling. So we remember that. A blank E, remember that E comes along, tells the A, the silent E tells that A to say A and not A. So A, and D says da. A, da, made. So when the two letters are next to each other, that is considered a vowel team because they're right next to each other. When it's A blank E or O blank E or E blank E, then that is considered silent E. That's long A with silent E. Because that E doesn't say anything. It doesn't say long E, and it doesn't say long A. It is just there to help the A say A instead of A. All right, next word. May. Your turn. A. May. M says and A-Y, that is a vowel team. Those vowels work together to make the long A sound. A, may. So yesterday, we also did the word may, but we had capitalized that word. And if it's capitalized, that means it's like the month of May. When it's not capitalized, it's as though you're saying, may I use the restroom? Or may I go get some water? May I go get my pencil? You're asking for permission. All right, next word. Play. Your turn. Pull. A. play. And so the word play is a high frequency word from kinder. And if you have mastered that word, you know that play is the word play, then you don't ever have to worry about sounding it out because you've seen it so many times. But now we've got that AY sound at the end, that vowel team, that can help you sound it out if you need to. Okay. Now there's some high frequency words that we will never, ever, ever be able to sound out. Like the word the, or the word hour, or the word would, or could, or should. Those ones you'll never be able to sound out. But there are some that once we learn new spellings of sounds, you can sound them out. And the long A sound with AY, that's one of them. All right, next word. Days. Your turn. Da. A. Z. Days. Days. So day is also a high frequency word. So D says da. And then here's a vowel team, AY, to help you, or that work together to say that long A sound. Da, A, day. Now again, since it's a high frequency word, if you've seen it so many times and you've practiced it so many times, you don't have to worry about sounding it out because you just know it. It's just a word that you have in your arsenal of words that you know. But now that we have learned new spellings for sounds, now we can sound it out. So the word was days. So this is one day, like one day has passed since Sunday. But if we're talking about more than one day, we have the word days. And having that S at the end just makes it plural. It means there's more than one. And of course, when you blend it, you have to say that S. Otherwise, it's not the actual word. So if I were to use this word, days, in a sentence, it was like, it has been many days since I was able to go to the park. Days. Next word. Paid. Your turn. Pa. A. Da. Paid. I got paid for mowing the lawn. P says pa. Here's a vowel team, A-I. They work together to say that long A sound. Pa, A. And D says da. Pa, A, da. Paid. Next word. Apron. Your turn. A. Pa. Ah. Apron. Now, the word apron, you sound out every single letter. So it's got 5 sounds. So A, that's the long A sound. And in the word apron, it is spelled with an A by itself. We haven't done too many of those words this week. But again, A by itself can also say the long A sound. So we have known that A will say ah, the short sound, like apple. But now you have to know that you can switch them and that A can say ah in some words, or it can say A in other words. So A, and P says pa, a pa, ape. I'm sorry, a pa, apra, okay? Like the word April. So that might help you. A-per. And then O says ah, a-per, ah, a-pra. And says a-per, on, apron. So if you notice, the word apron has an R blend. It has P-R. So chunk those 2 letters together and you've got per and then O-N. That's a word that we know. It's a high frequency word. O-N is the word on. So a-per, on, apron. An apron is something that you put on if you want to, if you're cooking or something and you want to, protect your clothes. Okay, next word. Stain. Your turn. Sta. A. Stain. Stain. So ST, an S blend. We just put those two together. Sta. S and ta. Put them together. Sta. And AI is called what? A vowel team. Sta. A. And that team, they work together to say long A. Sta. A. And says sta. A. Stain. Stain. So it's like, I have a stain on my jacket. But if you're talking about how you did it in the past, I stained my jacket yesterday. I have to, I have to wash it so that I can get that stain out. So if I'm talking about that I did it in the past, I will add ed. I stained my jacket yesterday. I need to make sure I wash it. Okay, next word. Agent. Your turn. A. Ja. Nt. Agent. So this is another word where A by itself says that long A sound. And G, that soft G that says ja. And remember, G to say ja is always going to be followed by an E. So you see G and E together, ja, A, ja, or A, ja, But I think it's a lot easier to team up that G and the E to help you see that it says ja. A, ja. And the blend we know, nt, nt. A, ja, ent. Agent. Okay, so yeah, we've got a soft G that we know, an NT. So again, if you try to sound it out with a short A, aga, that doesn't quite make sense. So, flip some sounds. Oh yeah, I remember the G can also say the soft sound. So let me try it that way. Adjacent. That almost sounds like a real word, but maybe not. Let me flip that A because now I know that A by itself can say the long A sound. Agent. All right. Next word. Basic. Your turn. Ba. A. S. I. K. Basic. So this is another word that has a lot of sounds because you don't really clump too many of them together. Maybe when you see it, you can clump it together. So B says ba. And this is another word where A by itself will say the long sound. Ba, A. S says s, ba, a, s, base. I says I, ba, a, se. Now, it's not going to be a long I because we're not going to have an E at the end of this word. So that tells us there's no silent E. So that means it's just going to be the short I, the I. Ba, a, s, I. C says ka, ba, a, sick, basic. Okay, so we talked about with the soft C, in order for C to say the soft C sound, there would also need to be an E after it. So since there's not an E, that C will just, that'll tell your brain that C is just going to say ka, ba, a, sick, basic. Now you might be able to kind of chunk that SIC and kind of sick, ba, a, sick. That might help you. Next word, cube. Your turn. Ka, you, ba, cube. So this is taking it back to the long U sound. Ka. And remember, U blank E is one way that we're going to make that long U sound. Ka, you. Remember, this is a silent E. U needs its buddy E if it's going to say the long sound. Otherwise, it's just a, ka, you, ba. Cube. So, again, just a reminder, Remember, if I take off that E, then that U is just It's just a short sound. And it's a completely different word. Cub. But as soon as that E comes along, it changes the U to the long sound. Cube. Cube. And last word. Stone. Your turn. Stone. And so this is the long O sound. So that's the boat card. S-T, sta, sta. And this is another one where O blanky is going to say that long sound. Sta-o. Because it's got an E there. It's got that silent E. If there wasn't a silent E, sta-a, sta. And says sta-o, stone. So remember, if we didn't have an E at the end, sta-on, ston, that's not even a real word. So as soon as the E comes along, that means it's a long sound. Sta-own, stone. All right, let's read our board. Made, may, play. Your turn. Wonderful. Days, paid, apron, stained. Your turn. Wonderful. Thanks for practicing. Agent, basic, cube, stone. Your turn. Lovely. All right, let's do a sentence. Capital D, beginning of a sentence. D says, duh. And A, in this word, it's going to say the long sound. It's a word where A by itself says the long sound. Duh, A. V says V. Duh, A, V. I says I. Duh, A, V. And D says da, David, David. So David is a name. So we know it's going to be a noun. It's a person in our sentence. So David, high frequency word, and capital R. So that's going to be another name. Could be the name of a person. It could be a name of a place, but that means it is a name, a proper name. R says and AY. That's a vowel team that works together to say the long A sound. A. Ray. David and Ray. M says AY. Another vowel team to say the long A sound. David and Ray may P-L, pull, but also, this word's a high frequency word, pull A. Now we can sound it out. Most of us know, we just have it in our brain that P-L-A-Y is the word play. David and Ray may play high frequency word with, but oh wait, this is another one that we can now sound out because we have that thumb card. We know that TH says like thumb. With. David and Ray may play with TR, It's an R blend at the beginning. AI, another vowel team. Those two vowels, they work together to say that long A sound. A. And says train. David and Ray may play with train. I don't think that sounds right. Because a train is just one train. So in order for that to make sense using just one train, we would have to have the letter A here. We would have to have the word A, because then it would say, David and Ray may play with a train. Okay, so since there's no word A there in the middle, we have to have an S to make this word train plural. It means more than one train. So now let's read it. It'll sound a lot better. David and Ray may play with trains. So yeah, that sentence sounds a lot better. So we do need punctuation, and at the end of this sentence will just be a period, because I think it's just a telling sentence. It's just telling us what David and Ray are going to do. So now we need some nouns and some verbs. There are not any adjectives in our sentence. So person, a place, or a thing. We just talked about how David is a noun because David is a person. And Ray, we found out that Ray is a name. So Ray is a person. And then there's another thing that is a noun, something that David and Ray are touching. So what are they touching? The trains. They have to be able to touch the trains because they're going to play with them. All right, so our verb kind of just gave it away. So what are David and Ray doing? They are going to play. So we have talked about how the noun tells what, or the verb tells what the nouns are doing. So the trains, those nouns are not doing anything. Ray is doing something. He's going to play. David is also going to do something. He is going to play. All right, wonderful. Let's go ahead and read our sentence. David and Ray may play with trains. Your turn. All right, wonderful. So thank you for your focus and participation. Remember, go back and review this video as many times as you'd like to, as many times as you need to. Turn the sound off. Thanks so much.